Welcome, welcome, welcome. The Sarnia Home Show, 31 years. Hopefully you're having a great time this evening. Come and join us over here at the stage. We have a great presentation for you. And at the end of the presentation, we always give away a fabulous prize. This time around, after George from Servayard is done talking, we're going to give away a Servayard gift certificate. So come, have a seat, and enjoy the presentation. Who has trees on their property? I know I've got two big trees that I'd like to ask an arborist some questions about, but it's all about trees, whether you have lots on your property and maybe want to get rid of some, or you want to make sure your trees stay healthy. George is going to tell us how to deal with the trees on our property. Ladies and gentlemen, George from Servayard.
Hi everybody, my name is George. I've been an arborist for over 18 years. I hold a couple credentials, International Society of Arboriculture. I'm an ISA arborist. I also have an Ontario qualified arborist, a utility arborist. I'm an instructor at Lambton College for the Arborist Apprenticeship. I teach for the fire school with the chainsaws, and I'm also a health and safety officer. If you can tell, I have a passion for trees, and over the years I've retained a lot of information, and I feel it's necessary that I get that information out to everybody else. So what's an arborist? An arborist, by definition, is an individual who is trained in the art and science of planting, caring for, and maintaining individual trees. Also called a tree care specialist or a service technician. What does an arborist do? Well, we maintain healthy trees, treat or remove injured and diseased trees. We also perform specific jobs like tree diagnosing, tree pruning, obviously tree removing when it's necessary to remove the tree. Fertilizing is a huge asset for trees. It's a huge benefit. The key to fertilizing is it's got to be caught before the tree is in complete decline. Well, how do you know this? Well, that's why it's really important to have a trained arborist come to your property and assess things, and we can pinpoint that for you. Another big thing is if you get a split in your tree, cabling and bracing the tree will also help with preventing the tree from failing. It's not 100%, but it definitely does help with that. Trees are essential to our world, offering a wide range of benefits to our environment. However, trees become hazardous. Liability if they fall and injure people or damage property. Maintenance is the key. So, maintaining a tree can actually prolong its health, reduce decline, obviously improve structure, and the whole key to that is to maintain your tree. First thing I do when I get onto a property is I like to inspect the trees. So a thorough inspection, an evaluation, call attention to any changes in the tree's health before the problem becomes too serious. I always tell customers, you're the best person for that. If you see a problem starting with your tree, it's best to call right away. Better than the tree having one leaf left on it and say, there's something wrong with my tree, I don't know what's going on. It's like, well, it's too late. I examined there's four characteristics of the tree's vigor that I'm looking for. Is obviously new leaves or buds. The leaf size is a big factor. If the leaves are stunted, there's obviously something going on with the root. Twig growth is another one. The other thing that we do as an arborist is we study all different species of trees. So all trees kind of grow and act differently. So that's why it's really important that we learn all those different characteristics of all the different trees. The absence of crown dieback, that's usually the crown is the top of the trees gradually dying back. That's a problem, and that's usually a problem with the root system. A lot of problems with that could be new building. I ask lots of questions like, have you dug in this area? I usually get, oh yeah, we put a driveway in about 2 years ago. That could be the reason why the tree's in decline. If it's caught in time, we can kind of promote the health of the tree and bring it back to life. The key to that, like I say, is you got to catch it in time. If a tree needs pruning, an arborist will perform proper pruning techniques. That's not going to ideally hurt the tree. There is a proper way of making a cut in the tree that will actually, the tree itself will heal itself over. Years ago, one of the things that an arborist would do was paint the wound. Well, they found out really quickly that that was actually counterproductive. It actually seals, it creates a seal that eventually will detach itself, and then it just adds a lot of moisture to that area. Insects will then get in there, and it actually is counterproductive. So the best thing for the tree is just to make a proper cut, leave it alone. We obviously want to remove dead and diseased limbs. They serve no purpose for the tree, so it's best to just remove it all. Any conflicting branches, and that's normally anything that's crossing, kind of shooting back towards into the trunk. Of course, any broken branches that can potentially fall and damage property or even hurt somebody. Thinning the tree's canopy for allowing more light to get into the ground or into your house. We prune to increase the amount of light penetration into the crown of the tree. It's actually beneficial sometimes for the tree to allow more light and, number one, more airflow into the tree. We prune to improve the structure of the tree. That's number one. If it's caught early enough, and it's highly recommended to actually prune a tree when it's young, because an arborist will know how to properly prune it for its maximized strength. So that way it won't fail. A big question that I get is, how often do you have to prune your trees? Or, how often do I have to come to a property to assess the trees? Well, the type and the frequency of the tree care depends on the species. Species is number one. Some species grow really fast, some species grow really slow. The age of the tree is another factor. If it's a young tree, then maybe you want to kind of keep an eye on it for, every couple years. If it's an older tree, you don't really have to do too much. You just have to ensure that what you're doing is going to be beneficial for the tree. Because it only takes seconds to damage a tree, but it takes years to grow it. Climate is a big factor. Location is another one. There's other factors that affect the tree's growth, and that's why it is important to have some sort of a trained specialist looking at the trees that can give a proper assessment of the tree and its site. The first step I try to do is to educate yourself about the trees, understand their needs. It's imperative to understand that proper tree care is a lifelong process. And the planning and caring for trees is a long-term commitment, not just a one-time deal. It has to be done. It's usually, I recommend, every 3 years, it's a good idea to have an arborist come around, assess everything that's there, and if there's any problems, deal with it. If there's not, then at least you have peace of mind. Kind of stepping away from trees, trying to keep your tree, one of the basic thing that a homeowner could do is mulch around their tree. It provides a lot of benefits. Mulching reduces the environmental stress by providing trees with a stable root environment. It cools the ground, which is imperative in the hot weather. It keeps the ground somewhat moist as well. The number one reason why I like the idea of mulch is that it actually prevents you from getting too close to the trunk of the tree that prevents any damage. I see a lot of line trimmer damage around trees because obviously grass will start to grow up around the tree's trunk, And that can damage a tree. And like I say, it only takes seconds to damage a tree, and it takes sometimes a lifetime to get the tree to grow and stay healthy. There is a value of trees. Trees obviously add value to your home. They regulate temperature of your home and the neighborhood. It provides food for wildlife. The number one I like is it actually shades your house and cools the house down. I hear a lot of people comment on that. It's like, ever since we removed our tree, our house is just so much hotter now. And it's like, well, yeah, you took its natural shade away, right? And that actually helps with shading or cooling the house down. The nice thing about trees is that it shades it in the summertime. In the wintertime, the leaves drop and it allows the light to filter through, and it actually helps warm your house up. So there is value in trees. So that's all I really got for now. If there's any questions. Good.
Thank you very much, George from Servayard. Now I'm going to hand out some tickets here to you guys. I didn't want to interrupt during the show because I know the video, so I'm going to hand these out, and then we're going to draw for that Servayard gift certificate. Perhaps you'll have George come and help you out with your trees, because that's the thing. I always just look at my trees and they're growing there, and you don't really think about them until there's something that goes wrong with them, right? And then, like you say, don't let it go too long or else it'll be too late. Okay, so let me hand these out. And the winner is 338611. 611, excellent, congratulations. I guess having the gift certificate would be helpful right over here. So congratulations, you can use that. And thank you very much once again to George from Servayard. Servayard is going to be doing some more presentations. Here you go, congratulations. Oh yes, let me double check, you're good. Okay, yeah, Servayard, are you back here tomorrow? Back here tomorrow. Servayard's got some great presentations at 12 and 4 tomorrow. We have presentations all throughout the day, tomorrow and the next day. So if you're going to be joining us again at the home show, we'd hope you drop by, enjoy our presentations, learn something, and perhaps win a prize. We give away a prize after each and every presentation here at the home show. Thanks for coming, and the home show continues until 9 o'clock this evening. So make sure you get around and see all of our wonderful exhibitors here this evening.